Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over all of the new content for December 28th. Obviously today on Twitter, in my last video I talked about the new Team of the Year nominees that were released, so none of that came out today, but we did get a lot of new Winternational cards. Some are pretty good. There's some interesting synergy ones as well, so today we're going to break down all of that. Before we get any further, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel for daily NHL content. If you come back and watch all of my videos, or even if you watch some of them, hit me with subscribe, man. It would really help me out. All right, let's get into today's video. All right, we'll kick things off with the 84 KRISTIANS RUBINS, 6'4" from Latvia with 2 to Gladiator. Again, Gladiator, not a big synergy that I recommend to try and activate. Does have 2 to it, though, so, I mean, I guess that is something. He is great defensively. 6'4", 221 with 87 body checking means that he is going to be a force in your own zone. The problem is you're probably going to spend a lot of time there, as 83 speed, 82 acceleration is awfully low. The one thing I will say, though, is that his speed, or his shot actually isn't bad at all. 88 power, 84 accuracy. So, I mean, he's not completely unusable. If you have Distributor on your team, it makes this card a little bit better to actually use because, again, 86 speed is, in my opinion, quite a bit different than 83. But that being said, he needs to be paired with someone fast or you're going to get blown by off the rush quite a bit. So the 84 KRISTIANS RUBINS, not a terrible card, but I still think there's far better options. Next up, we've got the 84 Jason MUZZATTI, 6'2" from Italy, with 2 to Barrage. Well, again, I think Barrage is the next synergy after Swarm Distributor and Spark. There's simply no way to activate them all. So at this point in time, not really going to be a card you want to go after. And if we're talking about just being used and not no synergies and taking into account, his 74 aggression is nice, but the rest of it is just not high enough to keep up with the fact that you've got guys that have over 90 shooting now, so this would be a pass as well. Then we've got the 84 overall MAXIMILIAN GLÖTZL, 84 left defenseman with 2 to Speedster. I've said this before, I'm not a huge fan of 2 to Speedster because I think this is a synergy that you actually want more cards to actually have it. However, if you do, let's say, have Lafleur, and you're trying to activate it with a card that isn't going to absolutely tank you, this isn't terrible, especially considering he's a left-handed defenseman. You know, he is big at 6'2" with 87 speed before Distributor. Combine that with the fact that his shot power is 90, accuracy is 84. That's not bad. I mean, there's a lot of defensemen out there that have really low shot accuracy and high power. This is kind of right in the middle for both, which is nice. Defensively, though, stick checking and defensive awareness are kind of low, but this might not be a bad free-to-play option if you are looking for a cheap left-handed defenseman. Then we've got the 85 overall FILIP ZADINA from the Czech Republic, 2 to Wingman, and again, the Wingman and Workhorse synergy is starting to grow on me quite a bit. 85 speed, 85 acceleration, and obviously with 2 to Wingman can get it up to 88. Accuracy goes to 90, so his shot is pretty good as well. And stick checking and body and defensive awareness are great at 88 and 87. Defensively, in terms of body checking in his own zone, it's going to be pretty rough because he's only got 73 body checking. He's only 6 foot, so he's not bumping anyone off the puck. That being said, as a free-to-play player, this might not be a bad option because, again, you're looking for speed, obviously, first, but then shot, and, you know, this does have that. If you have Distributor and you have Wingman on this card, you know, you're looking at 88 across the board with 90 shooting. That's a fine card, and I'm curious to see what he's going for in the market live because that might dictate it. Yeah, 35 is what I kind of thought. Anything lower than that actually isn't a bad deal in my opinion. Then we've got the 85 overall RUDOLFS, BALCERS, 5'11", with 2 to passing playmaker. Now, again, passing playmaker, just not one that I'm super big on. There are a few decent cards that have it, but 86 speed acceleration is okay. And then his shot for a winger is pretty good as well. It's right around 90. Hand stats all above 86. Defensively, with stick checking and defensive awareness, 88 and 86. That's not bad either. I'm not a huge fan of this synergy. It doesn't help out with his skating at all. And to be honest, I've said this before, so while size really impacts body checking more than the actual body checking stat, if you are under 6 foot, you really need to have higher body checking to make up for it. So this guy is going to be like worse than, probably just as bad as ZADINA in his own end in terms of getting the puck back. But again, if you're looking for a cheap winger option that has a decent shot and okay speed right off the hop, but the problem is that, you know, I'd still rather have like base Connor McDavid than this card. So this would be a sell for me as well. Then we've got the 86 overall ELVIS MERZLIKINS, 6'3" with 2 to Swarm. This is actually a pretty well-built goaltender. High glove, high stat. Lower aggression right around 80, which is what you want. Same with positioning. 5-hole, again, he's in that 6'3" range. This card might actually be a pretty good goaltender with 2 to Swarm. And again, 2 to Swarm is still a pretty good stat for goaltenders to use. So while I would recommend having, the bronze goaltenders that have 1 to Distributor, Spark, and Swarm, that would be the best backup. For your starter, 2 to Swarm or 2 to any of the synergies that you're looking for is key. If you can't activate Spark and Distributor, I would go Distributor and Swarm just because it's much cheaper. This would provide you with a nice option for it. And again, that glove high, size, and aggression is a really good build. Next up, we've got the 86 VLADISLAV GAVRIKOV, 6'3", with Howitzer. 2 to Howitzer is nice, but again, it's a synergy that you kind of just want more players to have. So having 2 to it is not really all that big of an advantage. That said, 85 speed before Distributor, which is kind of on the low end. But look at that shot power. It's up 95 again for left defenseman. That's nice. Because again, power is going to mean more for you than the accuracy will. His defensive stats are great. 92 body checking, 92 stick checking, and 90 defensive awareness. This is an awesome left-handed defenseman card, low-key, and someone, if you are a free-to-play player, someone that you might want to look at, see what he is going for in the auction house. 75 is a little high, but again, he just got released. I would expect it to come down a little bit just because while he does have Howitzer, which is nice, that speed is still a little low because he is going to play a little more sluggish, but this is a really nice card. Next up, we've got the 86 NIKOLAJ EHLERS, 6 foot with 2 to light the lamp. Now, I'll start with this. This is a good card just off the rip. No synergy included. 90 speed, 90 acceleration, 92 agility, and then 88 shooting all across the board. His hand stats are right around 90, and then stick checking defensive awareness at 86, 84, which is kind of weak. 2 to light the lamp is, again, just kind of a letdown. I mean, again, this is a good card, like that being said, but the only advantage I would see to having this card is just the fact that if you had the 91 Gretzky, you could activate Light the Lamp with 2 cards, which is kind of a bonus. Again, I really don't think that this is a very good synergy. Balance is probably one of the lower ones. Obviously, it's behind acceleration, agility, and speed. I actually don't mind endurance more than balance, to be honest with you, because I think size dictates balance a little bit more than anything else. Wrist shot accuracy is okay. And then offensive awareness and hand-eye, just not really stats that are super important. But that being said, I think that like his 83 with Howitzer is low-key kind of just as good and half the cost. But that being said, this is a good left-handed winger, like fast, obviously, with a good shot, even if you don't have Light the Lamp on. So there is that. This is a great, middle option. In terms of what he's going for in the auction house, anything, 50 isn't bad. Anything lower than 50, I think, is where I'd pull the trigger. Then we've got the 87 FILIP FORSBERG with 2 to Magician. I like Magician in the sense that you can actually feel it. I said this before about the Teuvo Teravainen earlier in the year. If you watched my video about how to do the half cuts correctly and incorporating that into your game, it should be a large part of your game. Doing a lot of half spins and whatnot is a great way to create time and space. And when you have cards that have Magician on it, you actually kind of feel it because all of the stats that it improves actually help out that movement. You'll make cuts faster, you'll make it a little bit cleaner, you won't feel as sluggish when you're doing them, so agility, deking, and puck control is nice, and he's really high in that regard. 86 speed is kind of, again, we're at the stage now where 90 is where you want to aim for. It's not make or break, but he doesn't have a speed synergy. That can really help. He doesn't have speed or acceleration boost. His shot at 89 is great, though. I do like that, and stick checking defensive awareness is fine, so he's okay defensively. This isn't a bad card at all. I wish he had a team-based synergy, but 2 to Magician isn't bad, and there are a few cards that do have Magician that you could benefit from. Off the top of my head, I mean, the base McDavid even has it, so that right there would be 3 to it. Next up, we've got the 87 Ryan Ellis, 5'10", and 2 to shutdown. And again, shutdown, I mean, shot blocking is a completely pointless stat in terms of what you're looking for because, again, it won't impact you when you actually have the puck or when you're actually controlling the player. Slapshot accuracy is okay, but power is more important for a defenseman. Body checking is important on this card specifically because he's so short, and then puck control is, again, not a bad stat to have, but again, it's a modifier, so it works in conjunction with other stats and attributes. So again, it's not something that's directly impacted, like speed, for example. That being said, he does have 2 to shut down, so there are some other top-end cards that have shut down. Off the top of my head, like Roman Yossi for 1, so you'd almost be able to get that activated. It's not a bad synergy to have for defensemen because of the slap shot accuracy, but again, I'd rather have power. At only 86 speed before distributor, I don't know if I would, this is probably a hard sell all the way around. If he was a bit faster, I would be on board, but just doesn't offer enough for the size hit you're going to take on the back end. And we've got the 88 TUOMO RUUTU from Finland, 6 foot with 2 to distributor. This is like the budget version of Mark Stone. The only advantage this card is going to give you is the fact that, he has distributor. With it activated, 85 speed is awfully low for a winger, especially with how NHL 21 is played. It means that you're basically, anytime that you break the puck down the wing with him, any defenseman is going to be able to get back and play you at the line. You're not going to get a breakaway speed with him. His shot is okay, all in the mid to high 80s. Puck control is not bad either. And defensively, he's really good. 91 stick checking, 89 defensive awareness, and 90 body checking. So this card is probably one of the better options for activating distributor. But if we go and look, I guarantee you that's probably jacking his price way up, and there isn't any active right now, and 175 start price, just not going to happen. And then lastly, we've got the 90 MARIAN Hossa, 6'1" from Slovakia. 2 to spark, which is obviously great. Getting 2 to spark is super key, and again, if you have the 89 Gaborik and Crosby, you already have 6 to spark right there, which is a super big advantage when trying to activate this synergy. And on my main team, I have Swarm, Distributor, and Spark activated, and it's amazing. I really do feel it. But the problem is that you're basically hammering your bottom line with it, because 83 speed and 86 of Distributor is, again, just really sluggish in my opinion. However, his shot is pretty nice, and defensively, he's got great defensive stats. 95 body checking with his Spark activated, and then stick checking defensive awareness is also very, very good. It's just that speed that's awfully tough to use. He is going to feel very slow, much like Mark Stone does. So if you don't like Mark Stone, you're not going to like MARIAN Hossa. But again, he does offer some help when activating synergies. He should be cheaper than Gaborik and Crosby, and he's going for about the same price. This is not a card I would target for this price. Not a chance. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's content. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. And please subscribe for daily NHL content. I'll see you next time.